Have you ever felt that tightness in your chest when someone looks you in the eye and you know you're hearing a lie? That shiver down your spine? That feeling that something doesn't add up? Yeah. Today I'm going to teach you the 3 questions that FBI investigators use to make liars give themselves away. And the best part, you don't need to be an expert in body language for this to work. It's just 3 questions. Simple, direct, and devastating. These questions work because they mess with something every liar has, the fear of being caught. And when you ask these questions the right way, in the right order, the person literally gives themselves away. Stay with me until the end, because the 3rd question is the most powerful of all. That one alone has brought down confessions that took years to happen. Let's go. Before I show you the 3 questions, you need to understand something. Liars aren't as smart as they think, seriously. Most people who lie believe they're being super convincing, but actually they're making mistakes all the time. The problem is we don't know what to look for. We pay attention to the obvious stuff, looking away, touching their hair, stuttering. But those things, they're secondary. What really gives away a liar is the story they tell. And that's where the 3 questions come in. These questions aren't random. They were developed by professional interrogators who spend their entire lives getting the truth out of people who don't want to talk. And you know what they discovered? That you don't need to yell, threaten, or pressure. You just need to ask the right questions and let the liar hang themselves. So listen up. If you suspect someone is deceiving you, could be your partner, your friend, your coworker, these 3 questions will give you the answer. And look, it doesn't matter how good the person is at lying. These questions work, always. Ready for the first one? Question number 1. Tell me in detail what happened. Seems simple, right? But this is where the magic begins. When you ask the person to tell the story with details, you're doing something very smart. You're forcing their brain to work. And look, telling a detailed lie is much harder than you imagine. So when you ask this first question, pay attention to some things. Does the person hesitate a lot before answering? Do they keep pausing, trying to remember? Liars do this because they're inventing in real time. They need time to build the story in their head. Is the story too vague? Like, oh, I was there, then something happened, and that's it. Liars avoid details because they know each detail is an opportunity to contradict themselves later. Or is the story too specific in weird parts? Like the person remembers the exact color of the shirt, but doesn't remember who they talked to? That's because they rehearsed pieces of the lie, but not the whole story. Look, a person telling the truth tells the story naturally. It has details. It has pauses to think, but it flows. A liar? Sounds like they're reading a poorly memorized script. And here's a secret. After the person finishes telling it, you don't say anything. You just look at them. In silence. You know what happens? Liars get nervous with the silence and start adding information nobody asked for. It's automatic. They think you didn't believe them, so they try to fix the story. And then they bury themselves even deeper. But wait, we still have 2 questions. And the next one is where things get interesting. Question number 2. Now tell me from the end to the beginning. That's right. You ask the person to tell the same story, but backwards. And look, this question is brutal. Seriously. It destroys liars. Why? Because when you actually experience something, you can access that memory from any angle. You can start from the middle, from the end, from any part. The memory is there, complete, in your head. But a made-up story? It was built in a specific order, beginning, middle, and end. The liar memorized it that way. They rehearsed it that way. And when you ask them to tell it backwards, their brain crashes. It's like when you learn a song by heart. You can sing the whole thing, no problem, right? But try singing it backwards. Super hard, even though you know every word. Now imagine doing that with a story you invented 5 minutes ago. So when you ask this second question, watch out for, does the person completely freeze? Like, what do you mean from end to beginning? They'll try to buy time, look confused, ask again. That's a giant red flag. Does the story change? Details they mentioned before disappear. Or worse, new details appear that didn't exist in the first version. Liars do this because they can't keep the story consistent when you mess up the order. Do they get irritated? Like, why would I do that? I already told you. Liars hate this question because they know they're about to give themselves away. So they try to deflect, get defensive, attack you for asking. A person telling the truth might find it weird that you're asking this, but they can do it. It might take a while. They might laugh at the situation, but they do it. And the story still matches up. Now look, at this point, if the person is already getting all tangled up, you basically already have your answer. But the third question, that one's to nail it. It's the question that makes liars confess. And I'm going to show you now. Question number 3, how do you think I can confirm if this is true? There. That's the question, the secret weapon. And look how brilliant it is. You're not accusing the person of lying. You're not fighting. You're just asking how you could check the story. Innocent, right? But for a liar, this question is a heart attack. Why? Because now they need to think about how their lie can be proven. And liars don't plan for this. They plan the story, plan how they'll tell it, but don't plan how they'll prove it. So when you ask this question, the liar's mind goes into panic mode. They start thinking, shit, is there a camera? Is he going to talk to people? Did I leave any trace? And you know what happens? They start contradicting themselves. Sometimes they even confess right there. Watch for the reactions. Does the person get nervous right away? Like their face changes, they look away, start stuttering? They're frantically trying to think of how to plug the holes in the lie. Do they invent witnesses or evidence that don't exist? Oh, you can ask John, he was there. But when you actually go ask John, you find out he wasn't even at the place that day. Liars do this to buy time, but they bury themselves. Do they get very defensive? Why don't you trust me? You think I'm a liar? This is the classic attack because they know they have no way to prove anything. Or, and this is the most common, they start changing the story again. Oh, actually, it wasn't quite like that. It was more like, done. You got them. A person telling the truth answers calmly, like, you can ask so-and-so, they were there, or there's a camera at the place, you can check, or even, man, I don't know how you'll prove it, but I'm telling the truth. No nervousness, no desperation. So to recap, you have 3 powerful questions. First, tell me in detail what happened. This forces the liar to build a complex story they won't be able to sustain. Second, now tell me from the end to the beginning. This breaks the structure they rehearsed and makes them get tangled up. Third, how do you think I can confirm if this is true? This puts the liar against the wall and forces them to think about the consequences of the lie. These 3 questions, in this order, are a professional interrogation disguised as a conversation. And the best part is, you don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to accuse. You just need to ask the questions and observe. Because at the end of the day, liars give themselves away. You just need to give them the rope. Now you know. Use it wisely. And remember, the truth always appears when you know where to look.